What is the one thing you know now that you wish you'd known as a first-time buyer?
I think the thing reflecting, and there are quite a few things now that I've been researching in this area for a long time, and I think back, and my first little property that I bought was off the plan in Queensland.
Mm. Mm.
I think I would have investigated more thoroughly the developer and the builder, who it
Okay.
was
Oh,
that is creating the vision, what their past experience was. Go to the sites that they've worked on before. If it's residential construction, have a walk around, speak to people, because oftentimes I've found is if they stuff up, you know, the last development or the development before that, past behaviour dictates future
good chance.
behaviour, right?
Mm.
It's more likely that, that lessons may not have been learned. And so I would always, that's what I think I reflect on the most, I mean, there's some things that people do that you can never see coming, no matter how much due
Mm.
diligence you do. But I think, going back and speaking to people in other developments of those same developers and those same builders to find out their experiences. Have they had issues with defects? Um, Walk around, talk to the people, get a sense of how they're feeling about the development, how the transition period
Mm.
was from when the developer was involved to when they left the
Mm.
scheme. For a new scheme, sometimes can be a really long period of time, and any flow-on effects in relation to the decisions that were made by the developer on behalf of the body corporate or the owners corporation, just to get a sense of what's gone on. And I think people are usually quite happy to chat, especially when things have
Yes.
gone really wrong in their development and they've got regret. And so when people walk around to say, do you like it here? Have you got any issues? And they go, oh my God, so many issues. Red flag, people, red flag.
Classic.
Find another apartment.
That's it. There's always another one. I'm going to add to that when it's a new building or a off the plan, then it's obvious who the developer is. It's obvious who the builder is, right? That's sort of everywhere. But when it's only a few years old, it's not so obvious. And if you can't get that information, is just as important on a building that's sort of probably even 20 years old, given some what's happened to some buildings. If you can't get that information, then give it a wide berth. I'd say, because often you can't get it after the building's a few years old.
Yeah, I think when there's holes, so when there's gaps in information, when you're asking questions and you're not getting any answers, or there's an inability to find out what's going on, the risk, I think, escalates. And so you do have to be so much more careful. And I think sometimes, though, with existing buildings, it doesn't probably matter how old they are, as long as they're a few years into their life, you get a sense of the quality of construction fairly early on. And if you're in, because water, as we know, water ingress, water-related defects is probably the number one defect issue in all new builds in this country, and has been for a number of years. And so water manifests, or water ingress or water-related defects manifest really quickly in a building, because as soon as you have your first rain event, you know where the water is leaking and how problematic those particular defects are. And so again, you talk to the people. Had any leaks? That's what I'd be asking in a new development, or a relatively new development, anything that's sort of less than 10 years old. I'd be walking around saying, oh, have you had any leaks here? Any issues with water coming in? And if there is, again, be careful.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, they will tell you. They will tell you. Yeah.
100%.